Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this Dev2Dev series where we are going to talk about the Work Zone Advanced edition of SAP. So, first, let's start with a short introduction, Maarten. So, my name is Diete. I work at Flexo almost a year now, and I'm in the HR digital transformation team. And my role is, as the title says, helping organizations in their digital transformation journey within HR.
Okay, I'm Maarten Peeters. I've been working at Flexo for a little over 4 years, I think. And I work at Flexo Digital as a SAP BTP consultant, mostly with Fiori and UI5 and all of the BTP solutions that come with it. And with a keen interest in SAP Build and the portfolio of it, I'm researching and creating everything that's in the SAP Build portfolio.
Mm-hmm. So today we are going to give you the presentation. And actually, Maarten and I worked on a Work Zone project together very recently at a big telecom company here in Belgium. And we are looking forward to showing you guys what Work Zone could mean for your organization. But first, let's go to through some practicalities. So first of all, everyone will be muted during the session. But feel free to reach out to us. You can chat with us via the chat, and you can ask all your questions also via the chat. And at the end of the session, we will have a Q&A where we will be glad to answer all your questions you will have during the session. This session will also be recorded, so after it, you can send it to other colleagues if you think they might be interested into hearing a little bit more about WorkZone, or you can listen to it again if you might have missed some information. So first of all, a agenda. What are we going to discuss today? We're going to start with an introduction, discussing the why of WorkZone and how could it add value within your organization. After that, we are going to talk a little bit more about the different Work Zone solutions, so you understand how Work Zone is set up before we deep dive into the demo, which will be given by Maarten, where we will really give you a preview of Work Zone, how the system looks like. And we will do that via a few use case scenarios that will give you an idea of a first impression of what Work Zone could mean for you as an organization. And after that, we will do a wrap-up, discuss what we have seen, and of course also do a Q&A where we will answer all your questions you might have during the session. So first of all, let's start with the why of Work Zone. So why would you as an organization think about using Work Zone, and how can it add value to your company? Well, to answer that question, we have to take a step back and look at the problem or the challenge that WorkZone is aiming to solve. And WorkZone was, among other things, developed by SAP to challenge or to tackle a challenge that a lot of organizations have in the world of today. And that is the challenge of the fragmented digital landscape. And when we talk about a fragmented digital landscape, we mean an online environment where all your information, processes, application, knowledge within your organization is scattered over a lot of different technologies or platforms that most of the time also work independently from each other. And that fragmentation is also often reflected into the different phases of the employee journey. And that can lead to certain challenges, but also to certain frustrations from an employee point of view.
The challenges that come up a lot are, for example, employees that get completely lost into all the different applications. They don't know where they have to go for the correct information. They don't know to which application they have to go for which process. And that, of course, can lead to some frustrating moments when you're trying to do your job. And what we also notice is that employees also often try to find workarounds to be able to cope with those challenges. Like, for example, having tons of favorites in their web browser saved, Or what is most frustrating for the people from, for example, IT furnace or the service centers, is that they start to mail you asking questions or logging tickets about issues that they are actually could be able to solve themselves if they knew where to find that correct information or if they understood the process. So it results in a few challenges for the users within your organization. And that's what SAP Work Zone aims to do. It aims to help your organization evolve from a fragmented digital workplace where you have all those scattered technologies, information, processes, to a more centralized digital workplace, where we're really talking about a unified platform within your organization, where all your applications are centralized, where there is a possibility to personalize your digital workplace to the need of your end user. So to summarize why Work Zone, we'll come back to the question, why Work Zone? Well, first of all, Work Zone focuses on bringing the information to the employee and not the other way around. And it does that, as mentioned, by providing a unified platform where all that information can be found. And one of the great strengths of SAP Work Zone is that it has a possibility to integrate with approximately 160 applications, SAP and non-SAP related. So as an end user, you will only have to go to one platform to navigate through all your different systems. On the other hand, Work Zone also helps you as an organization to further digitalize your workplace, because it provides a digital workplace for every line in business. And it also aims to improve the productivity and the efficiency within your organization. And later you will see that into the demo, because Work Zone really focuses on improving the collaboration within your team, between departments. It allows you as an organization to integrate workflows and processes directly into the system. And also very interesting is that it enables you to do your knowledge management in the system, where together with your colleagues, you can create, but also maintain, manage your knowledge of your organization. And last, but definitely not least, is that Work Zone enhances the end user experience. So as mentioned before, it is possible to personalize your Work Zone environment, where you make it possible, for example, that HR only sees information that is relevant to an HR colleague, finance sees only information that is relevant to a finance colleague. And in that way, it's a lot easier for the end user to get their work done, because they only see that information that is relevant for him or her. And on the other hand, it's also very user-friendly. So it is easy to manage by, for example, someone from HR or finance. There is no need for IT when you want to make minor changes into your Work Zone platform. So now you're probably wondering, okay, what is Work Zone then? What different solutions does it provide? So let's go a little bit deeper into that. So SAP Work Zone has two different editions. We have the standard edition of SAP Work Zone, and we have the advanced edition. The advanced edition builds further on the standard edition. So it's more of an extension of the standard edition. But both are, in both cases, it is possible to have also an extended functionality where you integrate SAP SuccessFactors into your Work Zone environment. So let's go a little bit deeper into those two different solutions. So here you see a screenshot, but later Maarten again will also show it into the system of how the standard edition of SAP Work Zone looks like. And it's, as you can see, it's a platform, one place, one central point of access, where your employees can navigate to access all their applications within your organization. And you, as an organization, can create custom applications within the platform. It is easy to organize all your applications and information into different tabs. And in that way, you can create your Work Zone environment to ensure your end user have a place to access all that information. However, when we place the standard edition next to the advanced edition, if you want to compare these two, the standard edition is a more static platform. So as an end user, when you use the standard edition, you will not be able to collaborate with your colleagues. It will also not be able to manage your knowledge within the platform. So it's more of a static platform where as an end user, you can, or as an organization, you can organize all your applications so that your user can easily navigate through that. And then we have the advanced edition, which builds up more on that standard edition. And as you can see, it's also more visual, and it really focuses on engaging your users within the platform. And we can look at the advanced edition as a more of a dynamic platform compared to the standard edition, where it is possible for users to work together, to collaborate within the system, to really talk about a workplace where you can get your jobs done together with the colleagues. And that's the main difference between the two solutions. Also, as discussed, a very interesting one in both platforms or solutions, the standard and advanced edition. It is possible to integrate with approximately 160 different applications, SAP and non-SAP related, which makes it also very interesting. And here you see a few examples. It's possible to integrate with Microsoft Teams, ServiceNow, SharePoint, a chatbot, Jira, and a lot more possibilities there. So what we're going to do in what follows, we are going to show you the key capabilities of the SAP Work Zone Advanced Edition, which again focuses more on that user engagement and dynamic element of Work Zone. But we are not going to be able to tackle them all. We are going to focus on a few of them, which are the UI integration parts, the personalization element, and also the knowledge base. But of course, if you are interested in learning more about the key capabilities, feel free to reach out to us after the Dev2Dev series.
All right, then let's head into the system. What we're going to show today is the scenarios of today is Work Zone has more of an employee view and an administrator view. Not necessarily the view itself, what you see in the screen, but the admin, of course, has more options and has to provide and create the content for Work Zone Advanced. So first, we're going to check the digital workplace and the user experience. So that is more what the user will see, work with, and what content that he can work with. And then we're going to see the how-tos, the 3 how-tos here, how to create a workspace, how to activate standard content, because there is standard prepackaged content available from SAP from different systems. And then if that's not even enough for your use case, we're going to see how you create a custom UI port yourself. So let's start with the employee point of view, being what is Work Zone for me, what is that digital workspace, and what is that? How is the user experience? Therefore, I need to go to my browser. As you can see, this is the landing page. I'm going to refresh just to be sure that I'm not being signed out in a minute. As you can see, this is the landing page of Work Zone Advanced. This landing page, your home here at the top, that's always going to be the case. And you have your welcome here, that's a subpage or work page. And as I'm an admin, I'm like the main character in the whole story. I can see all of these landing pages, but you can, based on authorizations and areas, you can create it in a way that someone from HR, for instance, HR profile, will land on this page, or someone from sales will land on this page. So that way you can really change the way of using your Work Zone immediately when you enter the Work Zone to the profile that's logging in. At the top, to go further, we have the My Workspace. The My Workspace is the most private workspace you will have in your Work Zone. This is only for the logged in user. So everyone can have a My Workspace, but it will be different for all of them. The admin can provide some templates so that it's easier for the user to get jump started on the My Workspace. But this is even not for a user that's logged in. It's not even enterable by an admin. So it's actually only for their own, just to create a workspace that enables them to do their day-to-day business as fast and as good as possible. Next to that, we have the Applications tab, which is probably a familiar site for most of the development users or SAP-related profiles, is the Applications tab, and that is what you would see if you have a Work Zone Standard Edition. So that's more of the tiles with applications there, or URL tiles. It's also possible. So here you see that standard edition is actually integrated in your entire advanced edition of the Work Zone. When I go back, you can see that there is also a knowledge base there. This knowledge base is entirely integrated with your Work Zone Advanced. And it has 2 layers, I'd say. This one is the company knowledge base, so that means that it's from the entire work zone here, and you can also have a knowledge base in your workspaces. What does this mean? Is that every user can search here, but knowledge base articles that are created inside of a workspace where you're not a member of, so you're not authorized to see that workspace, you'll also not be authorized to see those articles from within that workspace. But this is a nice tool for you to easily look for something that you need for the user. So you actually make the user as easy as possible to look for information. But this is also possible to do it another way, because this is still the user looking for information. You can also bring it to the user. So if I go back, and that's also the next step here, to a workspace, here I have a link in my HR landing page. I have a link to my HR workspace. And there you can see that it's a page designed and built for the user to immediately start some actions that are most frequently done, or some links and articles, tools that they most likely would need to do their job or for their own profile within the company. Or maybe you definitely want to know how many holidays you still have left. You would immediately see this based on a backend system, or your budgets, etc., etc. And that's then a workspace. And you can also see that there's a knowledge base there. That's what I meant with the authorization on the articles. What if you want to create, so I'll go back to the PowerPoint for 1 second here. All right, here. So now we're going to the administrator part of the work zone. Is mostly the how-to. How do you create, how do you provide, how do you give information, cards, tools to the user, starting with how to make a workspace. So I'll go back to the tool. Let's go. The administrator has an option here in this list, the administration console. You will use this the most, I suppose. And there's a lot of sections here, but as Diete mentioned, I cannot go over everything. It would take way too much time to do this. And here you have the area and workspace configuration. There's the workspaces tab. And very easily, the workspaces you manage are here. You can just create a new one. There are some templates available. This is also that prepackaged content that I will show you later. But for now, I'll use no template. I'll call it Dev2Dev. It's a demo as a description. You have the option there to do it either public or private. I'm going to choose private. This is mainly public is everyone can join this workspace. Private is they have to be invited to the workspace. So as easily as that, I have created it. You can start creating content here. Me personally, I prefer to look for my workspace here and go to the workspace itself, because it gives me already the view of the workspace itself when I'm going to create pages in there. So to create a page, it's just this little button here with a plus sign. You can create a work page. Let's call it sales, for instance. It's a new one. You can also use existing work pages from other workspaces or something, so you can reuse those work pages. You can add it. And we already have it. I have not created yet sections or not added some cards or widgets, etc. But I'm going to just stop here so I can go back to the presentation and show you what we're going to do next. The two options here is either to publish it or save a draft. The save draft is for the administrators to build a site, check whether it's for the user, it's the correct view, they don't see any mistakes, and then they publish it afterwards. Now I'm pretty confident in myself, so I'm going to publish it anyway. I'm going to disable the feed updates. That's for other administrators to see what I've been doing. And there you have it. I have a workspace and I have a work page, but there's no content yet. How will we provide content in this one? Let's start with the two second how-tos is to create, activate standard content or prepackaged content, and to create a custom UI card. But let's start with the prepackaged content, because you don't have to do much work for that one. Again, you go to the administration console, and there you have a section, maybe you've seen it before, the UI integration, and here content packages. These content packages are provided by SAP, and they are from different systems. For our demo, let's go with the HR content from SuccessFactors. So SuccessFactors, or SAP, has provided, and I can see the content here, 19 cards based on SAP SuccessFactors about HR, and 4 workflows and a couple of workspace templates. These are out of the box usable if you install the package in this admin console. You can see there's an upgrade available for this one because I already installed it. And if you have a button like this, it means install. It is installed, so that means in my card section, I should have, oh, it's loaded. There we go. You have the out-of-the-box ones. That's from Work Zone itself. It's only one up until now. You have your uploaded cards. Those are the cards created by a developer and deployed to Work Zone. And you have the provided by sections. These are UI cards. I've enabled them all when I installed the package. But here you can then enable and disable that prepackaged content that you want to use. You can see from my example that we want to do my profile, and it's already enabled. This means that as an admin, I can go to my workspace, and I have a little pencil here, which means edit, and I can start adding sections. You can also go for like 2 columns, etc. And then you can add a widget. A widget can be many things. It can be tiles, it can be images, videos, polls, a search for the knowledge base, rotating banners, and so on and so on. But you also have the cards, meaning the UI integration cards. In there, you would also find your cards from the prepackaged content, for instance, my profile. The UI cards have a special ability, I'll call it, that you can also configure them even when they are provided to you. So now you have the flexibility to still change the card. For instance, I can see here, you can also set it bigger if you want, that the data here is pretty empty for my user. So you know what, I'm going to hide my HR profile like that, and I can just save it. And as quickly as that, I've enabled prepackaged content into my Work Zone Advanced. This is fully integrated with SAP SuccessFactors, and it gets my profile. As you can see, I'm the same one. Then, if that's not enough, if the prepackaged content is not what you're looking for, then you can also create custom UI cards. This means you're going to create the cards from scratch with coding yourself. But this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a lot of coding experience to do this. What you need is a business application studio with the extension, that's a big note, with the extension for Work Zone. It's just choosable at the start of your space of the business application studio. And what you can do then is that you have given a command. Always nice to have command. Here you have UI integration card to start a card project. When you do this, you can just go for, it's a very small wizard. You can go for an integration card. You can start. And then you will give a name, sales orders, I'll call it. Let's give it a space from Flexo. Sample, sample is good. And then you have the card samples here, or the types that you want to start from. You can also do it from scratch, but it's a jump start in your way of creating cards. And what you will use for that the most, I suppose, is the Card Explorer. This is the documentation of SAP of all of the cards that you can use, that you can design. All of the functionalities are here for you to explore and to check them, because you even have the code, you even have the preview to see what you can do with all of this. And then that way, so when you have a use case, you can think, okay, what do I want to build? You can go here, you can check what types are available, what do I want to show them, and is the functionality there. Based on that, you can maybe start, not always, but you can maybe start already from a template. For instance, here I have the table card. I'm going to use that one as my template. The title will be my sales orders, for instance. Subtitle, service now. And that's it. There's not more than that. Okay, what's this? Then okay. We're going into the folder of my UI card. Gonna remove the get started. What does it create? This is a pretty simple UI card. It has a folder .card project, and it does nothing. It's the only reason it's there is so that the business application studio knows you are working with a UI card. Why is that necessary? Because when you right click your manifest, you can see that there's options there like a preview. If you remove this folder, it will not give you a preview. Simple as that. There's also a DT folder with the configuration. This is what I showed you where we have no design time or no configuration here. This is what I meant with if you pencil here, cover changes. You have these configuration, these settings of a UI card. You can also create this view that you see here where you have multiple choices, multiple options. You can create that yourself as well with this design time configuration. We don't really need it for this example, so I'll be removing it from your manifest, which is the main file of the UI card. You can create, so you actually don't need the other folders. The only file you actually need is the manifest.json. And it's really similar to UI5 applications. If you have ever created that one or seen the code of it, it has the SAP app with some metadata there, the UI just to say which technology and device types you're using. And then, and this one is specific to the UI cards, you have the SAP card section where you can just give the type. In our instance, it's a table. The design time, like I said, we don't need it right now. Then you have a data section. This one now, because it's an example from SAP, from a documentation, it's a JSON file. It's not a JSON file, it's just a JSON here. But it can also be a JSON file. It can be an XML file. It can be an API call towards a cloud system using the destinations of SAP BTP, or to via the destinations to the cloud connected to on-premise systems. All is possible here as well to get your data into your UI card. What you then define, I'll get the preview with it. What you then define is your header. That's the top section right here with an image or an icon and your title. And then you have the content, which is, of course, my table. And that is your UI card, how it's built. You don't need more than that. And I showed you the commands that you have. And you also have the UI integration card package. What is this? It's just making a zip file of your project, which you can then download. This we're doing to get it inside of our work zone. This is our way of deploying UI cards. So we go back to our work zone and we go to the administration console. And there we have also a section external integrations with the business content. And this has a button, the content manager. And this will also be familiar with people that have worked with the standard edition or the Fiori Launchpad, because it's the actual content manager or site manager of your work zone, containing your groups, catalogs, roles, and your apps and plugins. And what I need to do here is create a little app locally. And now I have to fill in all the forms. No, I do not, because we're creating a UI card. That's very nice. We have the option to go to visualization. And here you have an option UI integration card. This removes all of the other forms, which is good for us, less work. We can go to upload card. Don't mind all of my zips. Open this one. And now the form is pre-filled with the data that was already filled in my metadata here at the top of my UI card. I can save this one. So my app is saved. It's not yet available because it has no role attached to it. So I go to my roles. For the sake of an example, I'm just going with the everyone role. Do not try this at prod. And we go to enable this one. Save this one. So now we have it on our content manager. It's in a role, so it should be available. The only thing that's left to do is to go back to our card section and go to the uploaded cards, and all the way at the bottom, because it's a new one, we can enable my sales order. And now it's enabled for every admin or workspace admin to go to your workspace, use our magic pencil again, add a widget, card, my sales order, publish, and now you have a workspace with a work page with prepackaged content and your own created UI card.
Okay, thank you, Maarten, for the demo. So we are going to end with a wrap-up, and of course we're going to have the Q&A after the wrap-up is done. So let's come back to the reasons that we have discussed in the beginning of the presentation about how Work Zone can enable you as an organization to evolve to a centralized digital workplace. So as mentioned, Work Zone really aims at bringing the information to the employee. So as Maarten also showed, we are really being able with Work Zone to show that information to the employee that is relevant for him or her. For example, someone from HR can have his or her own homepage, own workspace, own processes, own UI cards, which of course helps to get your daily job done. It also helps to digitalize your organization, because there again it is possible to also create your own UI cards. If you have some processes as of today that are, for example, manual, it is an option to think about Work Zone, see if it can be integrated into the system, to also in that sense being able to innovate as an organization and using the powers of Work Zone for that. It's also, as we mentioned, a tool to help you as an organization to improve your productivity and your efficiency. And last, but again, not least, is the enhanced end user experience. And as mentioned, it is really a tool that helps you personalize your digital workplace, as you have seen, for example, with the My Workspace page, where you can even build your own workspace. You can also very easily navigate within the knowledge base, and also there work together with your colleagues on building up that knowledge base. So that are the main values that Work Zone could give you as an organization. And before we go into the Q&A, we would like to mention also that there is a possibility to register for the Flexo B2B-developer Academy. It's a full day, and you can. It's on September the 5th, so it's a Thursday, and you can grab your seats now, as you can see on the slide. So hopefully we can see you there.
If you have any questions from the chat, we will answer them.
So we got a question. My workspace, so the personal workspace for the employees, can it be deactivated? Yes, that is possible. We actually, Maarten and I work together at a big telecom company to implement Work Zone, and that was also one of their requirements. So it is possible, you can deactivate it. That's no problem.
It's also for everyone. So you activate it for everyone, or you deactivate it for everyone. It's not a pick and choose there. If the Teams calendar is from MS Outlook Exchange. If the Teams calendar is from Microsoft Outlook Exchange. I'm not sure if I understand the question completely, but Microsoft is available. Many functionalities of Microsoft are available for integration with Work Zone. I don't know if that answers your question. The org chart, if it can be from M365, Microsoft. Not that I know. The org chart is a default, is the prepackaged content of SAP and is coming from SuccessFactors, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot create it yourself in a different way.
But maybe we can come back to it after the Dev2Dev. We can look into it if that's a possibility.
How do you manage development to quality to production, and does it still exist? It does still exist. I've worked with a 3-tier Work Zone as well. How does it work is that you can import and export as pages, the homepage, the workspaces and their content, and the UI cards as well. So you can actually migrate everything. But it's not an entire package that you would move, but it's more sections that you will move to a different environment. Is a type of activity shown by Maarten, thanks to me, intended for end users or administrators. The type of activity that I was doing, the first bit, that was just scrolling and zooming through the Work Zone Advanced was the user's experience of Work Zone. And then the how to create workspaces and UI cards. That's for administrators, which is also on in the Work Zone Advanced is in different levels. So you have the company administrator, you can do everything. That was me, I'm the main character. But then you have also workspace administrators. They are the administrators dedicated to a certain workspace, and they can there also start creating pages and make them differently or make adjustments. But they cannot do this on the entire level. You know? Business technology platform process automation can be integrated. Yes. Yes, it's one of the goals of SAP to have, it's part of the SAP Build portfolio, and it's the goal of SAP to have the three, and then build apps, process automation, and Work Zone, to have them cooperative within each other. So that, for instance, you start with a little form, build apps, or it can also be just a UI card, not with build apps. Then you can trigger a process that is then in your Work Zone.
Okay.
Any more questions now?
Yeah, I think I understood that there are one more.
If different populations access the same Work Zone, but you have separate workspace, how do you manage access rights to it? This is based on user lists. So if you have, you would also have your SAP identity services, and these are providing your users to the Work Zone. So your users are actually duplicated into Work Zone. The permissions authorizations are still in SAP IaaS, for instance, but they are leveraged to your digital workplace service, so that they can be used in user lists and that they can get some type of authorization within your Work Zone. So there you can add people to user lists, or you can also map this based on authorizations from your identity provider, so that you can really shift on who can see what and who can access what. Thank you for the nice session. No problem.
Great. Good. Thank you, everyone, for joining the session. And the recording will come your way very soon.